Hi all Inderes TV viewers, I'm here with our analyst Pauli Lohi and we're going to talk a little bit about the company Kempower. Pauli, the company's journey seems to have been a bit of a roller coaster ride and not in a favorable direction. How would you summarize the situation right now given the big picture but also in light of Q3?
Yeah, that's a good question about the roller coaster. If you think about the company's development from the IPO to this day, it has actually grown big time.
Yeah.
But in between there was a time when the share price really shot up and then came down to more moderate levels. There was certainly customer inventory cycle that surprised almost everyone.
Yeah.
And that has been the main reason behind that roller coaster. And currently the market is less growing more slowly than like 1 or 2 years ago, but there's still growth and there are strong long-term trends. So I think it still goes forward.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the Q3. The numbers were not pretty. Would you categorize this as a Kempower problem or a market problem, or maybe both?
When you look at 1 or 2 quarters, you can't distinguish between is it about the company or market, and especially so when we don't see the competitors' numbers because they don't report them publicly. So it's very hard to say, but I believe it's about market.
Okay, yeah. Well, could you tell us a little bit about the inventory levels, both at customers and order intake?
The order intake has continued to decline so far this year. Well, comparison figures will ease up pretty soon, so that will turn probably. And we expect good growth next year, driven by, for example, tighter regulation for new car emissions in EU, due to declining interest rates and so on. So we believe that the market will really pick up. And then when we looked at Kempower specific things, they have continued to expand their customers in different geographies. They have got new countries like Turkey and India. They have got new customers in USA. So I believe that the growth will turn positive next year.
Yeah. Well, we already talked a little bit about the market, but could you summarize what is your view about the market as a whole and also what about peers?
Well, I just said that I expect the market to start growing again. The installations are growing already now, and they have all the time been growing. But because the customers have so many chargers in their own inventories, so it will take some time for them to digest them. In the next few years, the growth is still mainly driven by the passenger cars. But this is important that in the long term, Kempower actually believes that the heavy duty segment or commercial segment, that will actually be a bigger segment for fast charging. And that's because they need to charge a lot and fast. So the number of chargers per car is very high. Yeah. So that could really boost the market in a few years.
That sounds good. Well, if we think about Kempower's case, what is the most important going forward and from an investor's point of view?
Well, definitely the most important thing is the competitiveness of the business. They still have like the best margins, like gross margins in the industry. Even if we don't know their I would say the market leader Alpitronic, we don't know their numbers and we don't know their margins, but it will be very interesting to see one day what's the margin profile compared to Kempower, and I believe that Kempower could maintain their market share or even improve it going further, but that's still kind of a question mark because in the current year the sales has declined and we don't really know how the competitors are doing exactly.
Yeah. Well, lastly, how does our valuation and recommendation look like at the moment?
Well, we have over 30% growth for sales in 25-26, so we have some growth in our estimates, and we are using EV/EBIT 15 for 2027 in our some of the parts calculations, and that doesn't really provide much upside with the current stock price. If you would require certain like 9% required revenue or required return per year, so there's no upside beyond that. So we are still hesitant with reduced recommendation. We would like to see evidence that the competitiveness is still at very, very high level, and the company can improve its market shares going forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Pauli, for these comments. And thank you all for watching. Read more about Kempower on inderes.se.